Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show before the show. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. By the way, if you really like us and you're in groups like Facebook groups or I don't know, Instagram. Are we on Instagram today, Joe?
We should be. However, I got to still figure out how Instagram works. I set everything up like it's. Oh,
I'm
can
sorry.
you hear me
What?
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and you're on groups, you can not only just share it with a friend, you can share it to a group. People are telling us they're starting to see us in groups.
Yeah, the groups are a good way to promote us.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have my earphones.
Yeah.
I asked a question without being able to hear the answer. I'm not married anymore.
So I have it set up the way that it should be set up. However, Instagram's kind of funny. I still got to figure out what's going on with that.
Did the other shows get their Instagram yesterday? Because I wasn't in here when
it streamed live on Instagram. However, the aspect ratio was messed up, and that was pretty much the only problem.
One of the shows, the Football 360 show, which is a phenomenal show, they get like 20,000 views. I mean, literally within days. Matt Bierman, who runs Elite. I mean, if you've got a child playing sports, there's a good chance they've played in there. Mm-hmm. There's nobody better at training football players. The staff that they have there is absolutely amazing. And of course, these kids go on. Most kids go D1, they go D2. I mean, NFL athletes. Anyway, Matt, they rent the studio and they do the Football 360. So Matt Bierman and JP Rock and Matt Watt, he literally works and listens to us for full 2 hours every day.
Really?
He's super smart, loves the show all the way back to the edge.
That's awesome.
He's like, you guys are rocking and rolling, man. I was like, thanks, Matt. We appreciate it. He's like, Anthony livened things up. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was really good yesterday. I really like him. He cracks me up. He offended some people yesterday with the way he talked.
Well, his language. That's the only way he's going to offend people.
Correct. And
is his language.
And I was surprised that some of the Patriots, I don't blame them, but I was surprised because those are the same people that will say, Donald Trump has mean tweets. And I don't like that either. So it's the same ilk, I guess. But I understand our ears are not wired to hear the F word every 5 minutes. But he livened it up. He sure did. And you know what? He tells truth that a lot of people don't tell. They don't tell it. We get in trouble for that too. People are like, oh my gosh, you guys are such a far right show. It's like, no, actually we're not. We're just telling the truth.
We're not a far right show.
We offend the far right too, because we just tell the truth. Now, are we conservative? Yes. Do we want our country back? Yes. Are we going to vote for Donald Trump? I can only speak for myself. Yes. I'd vote for DeSantis too in 2028. But we're just telling you the raw truth. We try not to have, I have a conservative bent for sure. But I pissed people off yesterday with my Freedom Caucus talk.
You did? Or do you think you did?
Nobody said that. Nobody said, I'm just,
There's nothing wrong with that.
I take that back. Somebody did text me and go, do you have proof of that? And I'm like, yes, but you go ask for yourself and you'll find it.
Yeah. So like, subscribe, share the show. We'd love it on all the platforms. Canceltheshow.com. That works. I didn't think Stan Kroenke lived in Missouri anymore. I thought he was president. He's still listed as richest person in Missouri, by the way.
I did not know he still lived here. With everybody that really doesn't like him, talk about politics, right and left. People do not like him. So I guess he's got his little friend, or maybe he doesn't care. And if he thinks Missouri is, so sucky, why is he still here?
I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously they had a home in Columbia, Missouri. I just didn't know.
Yeah, maybe he still lives there.
Man, one of the biggest stories that we're getting into is what's happening in New York City. Mm-hmm. Kids being kicked out of school.
Yes.
It's nowhere even on Fox News.
No, you can't.
I mean, really?
I did find it on.
I'm trying to find it right now. I know they have new stories updated quite often, but
Yeah, it's not a big deal. And they used the words.
and we're going to get into that story too.
Yeah, they used the words like migrant instead of illegal and all.
Well, most people do. I almost feel as if I'm the only person, or the show is the only show that uses the word illegal alien, as it should have been, because
yeah,
we're being factual.
correct.
Factual has nothing to do with feelings. We're not hurting anybody's feelings. If you take offense, that's your issue. There's no offense with using vocabulary that is correct.
Right.
Just bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Did you find the Fox story?
I'm still looking for it.
I found one. I'll send it to you. It's on other places, but I don't know if I just sent it to you via text. But I mean, it's on all other kind of things, but not, of course, the regular mainstream.
Welcome to the show before the show, everybody. Thanks for jumping in.
Mike says on YouTube, good morning. Kelly had a good first show last night. She absolutely did.
All right, buddy, we can start the show, if that's cool. Wait a minute. Is Kelly's show up there? What's going on?
No, it just shows that on your computer. The description and everything has changed. It's not the same.
I don't have any chat, buddy.
No chat?
No, same thing as yet. Well, it's back up now. Now it's up again. It wasn't there. Now it is. Okay.
Yeah, there's something weird going on with. Okay.
When I was you last week, the chat was gone most of the time.
You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe, taking care of the video and the sound as always. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Hope you guys have a great day. January 10th, ready to rock and roll as we normally do. News headlines, politics, cancel culture, business, free for all Fridays. We do it all here. We appreciate it. Thanks for jumping in on the live cast as always, as you guys do all the time. Your information, your ideas, your chit chat helps make the show what it is. Hope everybody's doing great today. By the way, special thanks to Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, one of our advertising partners. Your leading supplier in traditional and infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. Check it out on our website, canceltheshow.com. It'll blow your mind how inexpensive this equipment can actually be. Experienced Real Estate Partners, they'll be in a little bit later today to talk with us. Route 66 Cannabis, they'll be in to talk with us a little bit later today. Strategic Air Services, the premier private transportation providers in all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. If you're looking to get into the aviation industry, give them an email. Let them know you heard about them from Cancel This. If you're looking for some pilots work, they're always looking for pilots as well. WeQuip USA, a peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters can go to search for items they need that their neighbors might not have, or they don't own or can't own, or need something quickly for a day or a week. Or if you're looking to rent something as well, check it out. WeQuipUSA.com. Page will be in tomorrow. And Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley, the original food shack, the Gumbo Flats, the best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meat served and their outdoor patio. They've got an indoor facility, a great place, great service as well in the Chesterfield Valley. Check it out. The food is really good. All right. We appreciate you jumping in today with everything that's going on. Special thanks to Anthony Rodgers, who joined us yesterday. That's for sure. We appreciate that. And by the way, we wanted to let everybody know you can rent our studio for shows. We can get you up and running. What was it? How many? I guess we had a total of 3 shows taping in here yesterday, right, Joe?
I felt like 4.
Yeah, 4. You count us.
Including us.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. 4.
Yeah.
So 4 shows taking place in here. Just if you want to do your own podcast, if you want to learn, you want to do those sorts of things, we can help you out. We can work with you from that standpoint. Studio looks different. Kelly Mano, our Friday social media influencer, she shot her first YouTube show yesterday. She chimed in. I don't know. There's like 500 people to start right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. And
Live.
the studio looked so great. It looked so her too.
Yeah. Pink and everything else. We work with you from that standpoint. We can make that everything that you need it to be. So once again, if you're wondering, ask us. Give us an email, Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com. We'll get you set up. We can talk to you. It could be anything. I mean, here, there, wherever, just to learn, because we have the Football 360 show that taped yesterday, Kelly's show. What is it called? Just the Kelly Mano show?
Yes. It's called the Kelly Mano Show.
And then, of course, we had the Wolf of Washington, Slightly Right, Wesley Smith as well. So, my God, that's a busy day, Joe.
Yeah.
Very long. Tuesdays are very long.
And Anthony stayed over and was on his show too. So if you haven't seen it yesterday, if you don't like cussing, they did a lot more cussing than they did on our show.
Well, of course. And then they went over to Winty's and they had lunch.
Yes.
So there you go. It all works out very well. We appreciate you guys jumping in today. We do everything. We'll bounce around, a lot of topics going on. Do you want to start with, do we wrap up the Aaron Rodgers stuff from yesterday? Because he responded.
Yeah.
I see the national media. They were after him a little bit before, but now he is enemy number 1. I heard NFL reporters, at least one of them this morning, just ripping him. He's an evil man, and he may be self-absorbed, but only because he went after Jimmy Kimmel. And you know what? He only went after Jimmy Kimmel after Jimmy Kimmel said something first to him.
Correct.
And then he kind of broke it down again, because here's the sound that they played. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Jimmy Kimmel has never taken as much time to go after one person in his life because he knows he needs ratings. He is a dying dinosaur when it comes to late night comedy. He's not even funny. I mean, Jimmy's not funny. He might have been a little funny on the Man Show, and then he lost it. I'm sorry, Jimmy. You're just not funny. But he knows that if he goes after Aaron Rodgers, maybe people might pay attention to him. And Aaron Rodgers loves it. Bring my name up. Bring it up. It's all good.
Yeah.
But don't think for a second Aaron Rodgers didn't. And I love what's happening at ESPN right now, because I'm telling you, ESPN is mostly run by left liberal people who are and I don't understand it, because most of the leadership positions are Jewish people who, a lot of the people who align with them in the TV network don't back their race, their society, their culture. And all you have to do is look to the Middle East for some of the things that are going on. It makes no sense to me. And I know people have brought that up on the show, but they're letting Pat McAfee in his podcast give Aaron Rodgers a platform. It's the future. There's a lot of old dinosaurs and old local news and old radio. You can't. No, this is the future.
Correct.
People having their First Amendment rights and being able to explain things. Here's Aaron Rodgers with the rebuttal after Jimmy Kimmel gave him so much time on Monday night.
Then we fast forward to this last week, right? And I said that a lot of people, and I'm quoting myself here, a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't come out. End quote. That's what I said. That's the entire quote. Okay? I was referring to the fact that if there is a list, which again, this hasn't come out yet, this was just a deposition, right? And there are names on it, then that would be the second time that a soft brain junior college student, wacko, anti-vax, anti-Semite, purveyor, spreader of misinformation, conspiracy theorist, MAGA, whatever other things have been said by him and other people in the media would be right twice. Now, let me just say that is the truth, number one. Number two, I totally understand how serious an allegation of pedophilia would be. So for him to be upset about that, I get it. Did you watch the quote? Because that's exactly what I said. Verbatim what I said on the show. Okay? I'm not stupid enough, even though you think I'm an idiot, and you made a lot of comments about my intelligence, but I'm not stupid enough to accuse you of that with absolutely zero evidence, concrete evidence. That's ridiculous. So I'm glad, and I think we can agree on something, is that one, those crimes are heinous, and two, I'm glad you're on the list, because those who are on the list, and this is what I think we can agree on, that at minimum there should be an inquiry into their involvement, especially if they went to the island, and at maximum there should be an investigation into it. So I hope that you'll give the same type of energy to these heinous crimes when they do come out, and the names do come out, and there is an inquiry into it, that you gave to other subjects that I actually mentioned that you spent a lot of time working on. So I'd like to put this to bed, to move forward. I don't understand, to just finish this up. I do understand. But I don't understand a Mike Foss comment, because he didn't help out either. And I'm going to quote Mike Foss. He said, "Aaron made a dumb and factually incorrect joke about Jimmy Kimmel. It should never have happened. We all realized that in the moment." Mike, you're not helping. You're not helping, because I just read earlier exactly what I said. So, and this is the game plan of the media, and this is what they do. They try and cancel. And it's not just me. It's nowhere near just me. I mean, if you look at all the different people who've been censored from the internet especially during COVID, the canceling that went on, the censorship, using the government to try and censor people that happened. And if that doesn't work, then they go to name calling. I mentioned a lot of the names that I've been called, and they don't stick, because I'm not anti-vax. I'm interested in informed consent and things that are in the best interest of my body. I'm not a MAGA. I've never had any affiliation with anybody associated with that movement, right? Which is okay if you are, though. Like, there's different opinions all over the place, right? If you're that's your ideology, that's fine. I'm not a super political person. Okay, do whatever you want. Conspiracy theorists, that's fine, because if you look at the track record of conspiracy theorists in the last few years, they've been right about a lot of things. So
yes, they have.
I don't care about that one. Anti-Semite, that was called.
Sure.
I mean, that's just like, this is their game plan. They use these words to cancel people, and they went and ran with this, because it's the crazy anti-vaxxer wacko again, talking about, accusing somebody of being a pedophile. Like, of course, this is the game plan that they use. Incorrect, but that's the environment that we're in. There's a lot of people who have been captured by various, entities, government entities, whether we're talking about pharmaceutical industrial complex, or whether we're just talking about believing that the government has a best interest in mind, and we're puppeting, various narratives. In the end, if you are not someone whose opinion aligns with the mainstream narrative, this is what they're going to do with you. And it's not me. I'm not a victim. I don't give a shit. Say whatever the hell you want about me. That's fine. Like, the people that know me and love me, you know what I'm all about. My teammates know what I'm all about. I don't have,
teammate.
like,
Most
I've
inspiring
never
teammate, by the way. Congratulations. Won an award in the middle of this whole thing from your teammates. Prima donna, obviously.
Some people puked because of that.
Yeah. Saw a guy cry.
But listen.
Saw a guy cry because you were named the most inspirational teammate.
Should we say?
That was not like Joel.
Well, you get the idea. We can cut it off there. I mean, that's Aaron Rodgers. By the way, this is cancelthisshow.com. We do give updates and focus on stories that are of cancel culture education nature. There's an example right there. When that happens, Aaron Rodgers responds, because here's the problem. Either the media will come after you because of people who run the media, or people will use the media to come after you like they do because you question what has happened. And he couldn't have been more right, hitting the nail on the head when it comes to the government and people canceling you and ending social media platforms that you have. And it happened during COVID. And there's been investigations. And Eric Schmidt started one that's continuing forward in the state of Missouri. Andrew Bailey, the current Attorney General of Missouri, has forwarded it. When it comes to you being canceled, just like Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers did not want to get the cupcake. And then he promoted the fact And then, of course, when they found out that he wasn't being truthful, that's when Jimmy Kimmel went after him, because Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be forced to put that crap into his body, especially under an emergency type of situation.
Correct.
That's how it all happened. And now Aaron Rodgers goes back and hopefully, okay, maybe, I know people, I don't care about their feud, but this is bigger than just a feud between the two of them, because this transpires all across America, across the world, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers' ability, number one, to have his First Amendment right, but number two, to not be forced to do anything.
Correct. And I agree. The feud in and of itself is kind of funny or irrelevant, you think, until you understand he's one of the few that's fighting back. This goes all the way back to 2020 or prior to that, when people were forced to take the vax. And when it's under an emergency order, there's no accountability if that vax makes you sick. So it's kind of a big deal. I mean, we still have to be fighting that. If you want to take it, go take it. But if you don't, nobody wants to be forced to put that in your body.
Yeah, I was grateful that 60 Minutes did an interview with Novak Djokovic about a month and a half ago, where he said, listen, I've missed tournaments, I've missed Grand Slams because of this crap, only because I didn't want it for myself. I didn't want it to be forced on me. I've never said I'm anti-vax.
Correct.
Now, people can say, well, it's semantics. If you don't take it, you're anti. No, I'm anti being forced to take something.
That's a big
and the media will not allow, there's a black and white difference, but they try to blend it into a gray area. Just because you don't want something doesn't mean you're anti-vax. Go do. Like I said, we're not anti-mask. We're not anti-vax. It just don't force us to try to do something that fits your narrative. And that's where we are. And that's why I think it's big. And that's why I think it's important to talk about. And in the midst of all of this crap and elites, and by the way, the Hollywood left are the elitist. They are the elitist. They try to tell you that Republicans are the elitist. The very elite of the Democratic Party are the elite. They are the ones that push a lot of these narratives. And guess what? At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers can do what he wants to do. He should be allowed to do what he wants to do. And it shouldn't be forced on us.
Correct.
End of story.
Correct. And just before we get off this topic, Heather was saying on the chat line, many people are starting to wake up what they're doing to your pets too, because pets are dying younger, have some mysterious thing, and they're trying to give pets. Now, when you go into the vet, they're not only wanting you to have the regular rabies type thing, they're giving them flu and bordetella and all of this. And not only is it making your bill huge, nobody knows the results. Is this what's killing our dogs? So when I go in, I will get them rabies, just, because I've had the dog catcher called on us, but I won't get them the bordetella and the flu and all that crap.
So you can go in and you can request non-mRNA vaccines for your pets.
Yes, and that's a good thing to know. Thanks for bringing that up, Joe.
And in the midst of all this stuff that's going on, and vax, no vax, and everything else that has happened over the last 3 years, and the nightmare that everybody has lived, it makes you wonder. I was told yesterday that there was a nurse who dropped dead at a hospital in St. Louis. And we don't even have to say the name of the hospital, but no previous health conditions. All of a sudden just dropped dead. Yeah, can people die of heart attacks? Yeah, but not young, healthy women. All of a sudden, boom, who had to work. We know they are fully vaxxed because they're working, and they've been working.
And according to the nurse who worked 40 minutes on her to fail or to not have success, she said that there's a lot of talk around the hospital about.
Yeah, and it's a massive, major hospital in the St. Louis metropolitan area. And when I heard that, it gave me chills yesterday. I get chills now talking about it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we already know. So if anybody wants to say Aaron Rodgers or anybody else is stupid or wrong or tinfoil hat, most of the people I've talked to are not happy they put that shit into their body under an emergency authorization use.
Correct. I've never met anyone who didn't take it, who is sorry they didn't take it. But I've seen so many people who did are now very sorry because they're having complications or knows a loved one that died or is having complications.
I just recommend that if you've had the vax or if you've had the jab,
many
just
people have
go
vax,
get your
jab, cupcake, whatever we call it.
Go get your vascular system checked out.
That is very solid advice. Very solid advice.
I mean, because when that happens, in St. Louis at a massive hospital like that, I guarantee word spread within probably 20 minutes of the entire system.
Yeah.
And I say system is in multiple hospitals. System.
Yeah.
So that's why this becomes a very interesting topic that's going on with Aaron Rodgers, trying to bring that to the forefront. There's nothing wrong with saying what you're saying if you don't want to do it. And you should not feel ashamed. And most of the people that listen to this show don't. But you should have a platform. You should have a voice. And I don't try to, whether people did or didn't. I don't even care.
Right. Many people
I
did
don't
'cause they
care
were
what you
scared.
did.
Yeah.
But, I try to be cognizant to people and not, if somebody did it, to not like rub it in their face like you're going to die.
No, not at all.
And you don't want to
Quite
do
the
that.
opposite.
There's
No.
it's
I don't
having
want them to
compassion,
die.
whether we did or didn't or any of the things.
I have loved ones that took it, and I don't want them to die. I disagreed with them, but I don't hate them or like them any less because they took it. But I agree. Don't rub it in their faces.
Well,
But don't make me take it either.
I'm perplexed that it's all of our healthcare workers, our pilots, all these important
Yes.
people were forced to do this, and these are the people that we need.
Correct.
Not that we don't need everybody else. It's just these are the important people of our society.
Right.
It is interesting too, because I saw posted last night as well that Dr. Anthony Fauci was flip-flopping during Congress grilling now and is admitting that he approved the Wuhan COVID research proposal without even reading it. Mainstream media not covering it. Mainstream media not talking about it. Any of those things right now. Once again, Fauci, during the Congress grilling, the ex-White House doc, of course, refused to answer more than 100 questions about COVID and admitted that he approved the coronavirus research proposal without even reading it. Okay, the scorecards. Remember the scorecards and the things that we're doing and talking about now with other stories. This happens, and you have to remember what's going on right now and not get pushed into or forced into or sucked into anything else. And he's trying, Heather from the chat line, he's trying to cover his ass.
For sure.
Don't believe anything.
100%.
We already know where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of fire regarding everything that happened with that whole situation.
Yes.
And of course, yeah, if you're a family, I mean, it's so difficult because at the time, it was helping, and there was research because it did stories where it was keeping people out of the hospital, where there was positive research for it. But clearly, it affects some people in a death way.
Yes.
Where you don't come back from it, and of course, other conditions that develop over time.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It might have helped some people. It might have helped with the quote. I never heard of this word, probably comorbidities, but the people that were healthy that took it are the ones that we're seeing just dropping dead. Like they didn't need to take it.
Pre-existing conditions.
Yeah. That we might not even
comorbidities.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We had blood pressure.
Correct.
Heart disease.
Yeah.
Diabetes, anything of that nature. And of course, that's who it killed. People with, it was like I think it was 92, 93% of the people who died, maybe even higher, that passed away, all had comorbidities.
Yeah.
And I wonder where
overweight, obesity.
I wonder where I'd be if I had done it, because that was in the beginning. That was before I lost a lot of weight. That was I was at my peak of my diabetes. Yeah.
You might not be here to talk about it. We don't know that for sure, but you might not be here.
I mean,
and we've spent a lot of time on this show.
Chances are high.
We spent a lot of time in the show breaking down the research, breaking down information that was coming out at the time, now where it was funded, how this was put together, created decades ago. And then all of a sudden, oh, here it is now. We've got it now. This whole COVID thing created for issues. But I credit Aaron Rodgers for speaking up, not being worried about being canceled. And in the midst of it, as they led to on the show, Pat McAfee, if Aaron Rodgers is such a bad guy, Jimmy, if he's such a bad guy to you, NFL reporter Dan Graziano, who I had to stomach this morning talking about how Aaron Rodgers is this bad guy. If Aaron Rodgers was such a bad guy, how could he unite an entire NFL locker room with white people, black people, old, young, Latino people, all kinds of ethnicities, and they voted him the most inspirational player
Mm-hmm.
on their freaking team.
Yeah.
Do you think the entire New York Jets locker room is hardcore right, conservative, Republican? Hell freaking no. Maybe they are. That'd be a good thing.
Right. Maybe they are. We just don't know it.
But they voted, in the midst of all of this going on, they voted him the most inspirational football player on the entire team. And he only played one down because he got hurt. But they got to know him because he was around the team. They know that he is not this bad guy that Jimmy Kimmel and the media tries to make him out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he has a different perspective, just because he may be a little kooky, just because he may do ayahuasca. He's damn, that's what'll happen if you buck the system. So congrats to Aaron for standing up. It takes very strong people to stand up to local media, to national media, and that's of all kinds, because if you are a conservative, if you have any sort of conservative bent or ideals, TV, newspaper, radio will come after you.
Mm-hmm.
And Glenn loves his porn stash.
Yeah. People.
Whatever that means. I don't know what that means.
Well, he's got a mustache.
I know. I'm
and
kidding.
they think he looks like Kelsey too.
What do you mean? He doesn't look like Kelsey.
His mustache.
Oh, the mustache. The stash does.
It's all
really.
in the stash.
And then, of course, and then Aaron and Travis Kelsey had a little bit of tiff, but they just let it be. They didn't keep going back at each other.
Correct.
Because Kelsey obviously is all pro-vaccine, and his girlfriend is pro-vote, sign up, Trump. I'll do anything I can to get Trump off the ballot. That's an interesting thing, because I know a lot of women who love Taylor Swift. Can you really set your Taylor Swift entertainment love to the side, knowing that, and you should be allowed to vote for whoever you want to, but she is publicly promoting Joe Biden and anybody against Donald Trump.
Well, I think conservatives
That's what's interesting.
follow suit with her. I wish that there was some very strong person like her on the conservative side that goes and gets people to vote too, and encourages them to vote, encourages them to actually even have the ability to vote. So as much as I don't like that she's doing that, that's smart for her.
Jesse Walters did a story on this last night, or they did a breakdown.
They did. I thought it was
a psyop. They called her a psyop.
They did.
They actually used that. Maybe it was I can't remember where it was, the World Economic Health Forum or something. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in this country, but said we could use Taylor Swift. And there was a whole study on how we can use influential people to get people to vote for who we want them to vote for.
Correct.
Now, people can be Democrat, they can be Republican and be entertainers. I mean, there's conservative entertainers too.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift, the most popular. It is interesting. And then her and Taylor hook up, and then or Travis, and then Travis is pumping the Pfizer, and it all of that, man. Damn. Robert says it. Is Taylor a NATO psyop?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, that sounds so bizarre. We're even talking about that.
But she can be, she's liberal. And of course she's going to promote who she wants, and she's allowed to.
Mm-hmm. She is. She is allowed to. And that's why people that have her talent, there's not that many people that can fill a stadium like she can. But I mean, we need to be doing the same thing on the conservative side, doing exactly what she's doing. Instead of spending time being mad at her, we need to be doing the same thing.
I was just looking back, and that said family members got the boosters and had blood clots.
Yeah.
I pray for them, and I'm sorry. My father had a heart condition, never had it. I know older age can occur, but nothing. And they're like, we have no idea what happened to your heart.
Yeah. Yep. We heard that about my father-in-law, things that he had. He was fine 1 minute and he wasn't. And one of the first things they asked, did you have the jab and did you have the boosters? And of course they said it in more medical terms, and he had them all. He had all of them.
But I did think about that, Joe, a couple times last night. I was like, damn, just dropped dead. Nurse.
How old was she again?
I don't know. I wasn't given the age.
But 38.
30.
Oh my God, a young nurse.
So really young. Wow.
Young nurse walking around in massive hospital in St. Louis, just collapses and dies from a heart attack out of nowhere.
And she's not the first.
That's
really
the ones we're hearing of.
In St. Louis?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Greg says, did you guys notice how many football players, both active and retired, were pushing woke agenda? I don't see a lot of that, Greg. Because many of the football players were not. They were not, and any of the athletes outside of the NBA, which is totally woke.
Yeah.
All the other sports were refusing to get it or doing it quiet or
Well, it's been a while, but they were pushing the BLM agendas, I think is what he's talking about.
I think he might be referring to Kelsey and his Pfizer.
Maybe that could have been. It's just the whole, Bud Light. I don't know. Now they are, because Bud Light has started their comeback tour. So the only athletes I've seen promoting Bud Light is a commercial with Peyton Manning and Emmitt Smith. But that's only after Bud Light has jumped in bed with the UFC for a 9-digit figure total, and then immediately went to Peyton Manning.
You know what the travesty?
Oh my God! Can I say this really quick?
Yeah.
Tara says, I heard of a 42-year-old died in her sleep last week. Lots of turbo cancers all of a sudden.
So sad. That is so sad. Well, and like what Jeannie said on the chat line, the travesty of all of this is, even though we're getting all of this knowledge now, how we've been played by so many people, it makes you trust no one anymore. And that's kind of a sad thing. You want to be able to trust people, but now I think a discerning person looks at them and literally tries to break down the words and the mannerisms in which they're saying it now, because we don't believe anybody anymore.
No, we don't. And we'll continue. Maybe this is done now with Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But I'm glad that it has occurred, because the more that you have people who have influence are willing to stand up, not worry about ruffling little feathers, and go against the system, the better it is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, the more it happens, the better for everybody. The more it happens, the more the other side knows, okay, we're going to get a fight. We may have to maybe not do this. It does happen. The more pushback, the better. So that's why I like what has happened there. And maybe that situation has been done away with. This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. Another interesting story to get to before we talk to our friends Kathy and Steve Helbig-Strick is what happened a few days ago. Several men have now been arrested after the secret tunnels were found in the Brooklyn synagogue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, leading to bathhouses, and the whole situation is very seedy, salacious. Is it? They talk about, you hear reports of soiled mattresses, and I don't even understand it. I don't think everybody understands the complexity of everything that's going on right now.
Correct.
But they were reported. And this is a very orthodox, Sadaic Jewish community group. They stick to themselves. They don't go out. They're not hurting other people. They're not in news for crimes. The only crimes I've ever heard that they could is private things, money things.
Correct. A lot of money.
I'm not saying it happened, but like money laundering, things of that nature. If you're, nothing like the mobs haven't done, but to have these secret tunnels, why? Hell, as one of our viewers, listeners said earlier, okay, should this be stopped? Should there be an emphasis on all the tunnels that have been dug underneath our southern borders from Mexico into the United States? Well, we don't hear anything about tunnels being done there, but is it because it's a Jewish community in New York? Well, are these tunnels, is something bad, nefarious going on?
Well, when I first heard the story, I thought the police were filling them in per like the government.
They were, because they were built without permits.
Correct. But wasn't it the higher ups did not want them there either, because the extremists in their sect were the ones doing it. And so what I'm hearing, if you really dig deep, is the head of what is it called? The Shabbat. I don't know. I don't want to botch it up. Synagogue. Yes, I can't even say it. But they were the ones that agreed to have them do that.
Well, Robert brings up a great point too. Tunnels are everywhere. They crisscross the world.
They sure do.
Doing some research, the tunnels that are in Denver and reports underneath the Denver airport. It's just interesting because then, of course, you have people jumping in the chat line. Well, I heard the tunnels were built when they weren't allowed to go to worship service because of the New York policies. In New York, one of the strictest when it came to COVID regulations, to COVID restrictions. But the whole and the fact that the media blew it up, I'm like, okay, what should I be taking out of this?
Right.
I don't know. I was like, I'm trying to stop for a second, try to get as much information as you possibly can and try to find people who are talking about all sides of this story. The mattresses I brought up, Alex brings up, were on video being pulled out of the tunnels by cops. Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is that something bad? people sleeping in tunnels. I mean, it's.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll never know, but I do know, I kind of said a little bit about this to you yesterday, Vic, was as you guys know, I own childcare centers, and I had one that I rented out to that same sect and ended up having to kick them out because I saw I guess, what would you call it, the head rabbi abusing the women. And not to mention, they didn't pay the rent on the building at all. And I thought that was really interesting.
But men are being arrested here, though, for this.
That's good.
And then the communities are like, this isn't good. But I mean, the whole situation. I mean, it's literally, they built these tunnels into the side of a historic synagogue.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wouldn't you?
So law enforcement was there. Yeah, I mean, it's literally right in Brooklyn's Crown Heights neighborhood in New York City, and
like Alex is saying, we heard about it because a mob attacked the police while doing it, and it's all on video, or we would never even heard of it because somebody leaked the video out. Or otherwise, we wouldn't even know the story.
What are the tunnels for? Have we figured that one out?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different places you can look, and everybody says a different reason. So the truth hasn't come out yet on what it is. It depends on where you look.
City inspectors were initially called to the site to conduct what they said was an emergency structural inspection because you've got tunnels being built under I mean, that could be a big problem, huge problem for many people. And they said that during the inspection, officers stood behind the barricades surrounding the headquarters, blocking a line of the young men who wanted to enter the building. So that's when all the chaos started. Happened a couple of days ago. We looked at it for yesterday. We had some other information that we were talking about yesterday instead. So they did. The NYPD, they said the building's closed now pending structural safety review by city inspectors. And I don't think it's been reopened yet.
No, I'm sure it hasn't. And I know that they...
And can you just close off tunnels? I mean, how does that even... I have zero experience with this, but we had to bring it up because it was so bizarre.
It really is. The whole video is just so weird, and the whole thing is just so seedy. It's just seedy, no matter what the outcome of it is.
Thank you, Tim, for sharing the show. We appreciate it. By the way, we will be talking at the start of the 9 o'clock hour about what's happening in New York City as well when it comes to migrants, when it comes to the aliens coming into those towns. Robert says tunnels under the Playboy Mansion, White House, Capitol, they're everywhere.
They sure are.
The tunnels that led from Hugh Hefner's house to other celebrities blew my freaking mind. And they were only found in the last 20 years. I can't remember some of the
there's
actors.
Tunnels in southern Missouri too. I went to Missouri State, and there's tunnels underneath that campus too. They don't often let students in there, but you can go there. I've been in the tunnels, like snuck in them, and they're still there.
Jeannie says Maryland Heights has tunnels. Chris says, I'm willing to bet they'll condemn the building no matter what, if it's required or not.
Correct.
Just from the fact that now that there were tunnels under there. I mean, it's almost... It looks bad upon the city that they didn't know that there were tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole tunnel system underneath the Limp Brewery. There used to be like a big, Limp
Brewery in St. Louis, for people who may not know too.
I mean, there was like a big swimming pool, like the whole area that they had to collapse when they extended I-55. They had to collapse it because they put the highway over the top of it.
Mm-hmm. And Stephanie's saying there is an entire underground under Springfield, Missouri. There's a higher, almost a town underneath there. It's bizarre.
And I don't know how you could build tunnels so fast when you weren't allowed to go to church, if that was why they were built. I mean, because I get it. Glenn's like, just you want to remind everybody, it's a fair point. Remember, you couldn't go to church, but you were allowed to go to strip clubs and bars.
Correct.
Casinos.
Yeah.
Which is why I think America will pay a price someday, maybe sooner rather than later, for decisions that are made like that. You plant seeds, you can call it karma, call it whatever you want. Those sorts of things happen, and it comes back bad. Bendy says lots of tunnels in St. Charles City too.
True. Yeah. Yeah. There's tunnels really everywhere, but most of the time people are not allowed in them. They'll tell you that they're there for working on the roads and emergency management, but really, how many people have ever been in them?
Stephanie says they store things in businesses all under there. My son did electrical work a few months ago in it and said it is unbelievable. Did electrical work where, if you could remind us? Robert also says tunnels under the LA Staples Stadium is huge. The Getty Museum, tunnels everywhere. And of course, Glenn reminds everybody they stored beer in tunnels for a variety of reasons.
that
Tunnels
makes
built.
sense.
Well,
And-
that was the tunnels underneath the Limp Brewery. The Native Americans built those tunnels, and I guess we came and took it, or maybe bought them. I don't know what the history is there, but the temperature for storage of beer year round, they didn't have to pay for like any kind of.
What would the tunnels be in Springfield, Missouri? Because several people are now chiming in as well about you talking about the tunnels.
Well, they say
in Springfield.
They say it's for the college campus, and I've heard so many different reasons why they're there. I've heard for if there's an emergency, they can get students in and out. The faculty sometimes goes down there, but my daughter just graduated from there a couple years ago and said there's still the talk there, but she's never been in them. But when I was in there in the 80s, I did get down there and see them. And it just looks like a bunch of tunnels to get to the different buildings. But now that campus is so much bigger, I don't know what they're used for now, but there's like a whole little city down there.
Well, Alex says probably the biggest tunnel of all that everybody needs to know about is the tunnel that's between Joe Biden's left and right ear.
There's a big,
Allegedly,
about
there's
halfway
a
through.
massive cavern about halfway through.
Yeah, I think he's right.
And we can't have a tunnel conversation without talking about that one.
That's exactly
Yeah, AP confirming what Alex just said, a massive tunnel between Joe Biden. Yeah, that's right, between his left and his right ear. Yeah. We need to go over there and check that out.
We do. We need to invite him in and we need to investigate.
Hey, cancelthisshow.com. Kathy Hobig Strick, Steve Strick, get ready to come in. Steve's in position. Is Steve up, ready to go? Or should we wait for him? Robert says, by the way, the salt mines under Detroit and the Great Lakes as well. Toledo, massive. I've heard this before too, that presidents could go underneath from West Coast to East Coast in tunnel systems if need be. You don't even have to be outside in the air. And I'm like, really? The whole way? That's just so bizarre thinking about all that stuff that's going on. All right. We bring in Steve Strick while Kathy's getting ready. Our Cancel This makeup crew is taking care of her right now. They're doing her makeup and her hair right now outside. They already took care of Steve. What's up, my friend? I don't ever get to see you really in a tie and a vest. You look pretty good, my friend.
You look snazzy. You look really
You do.
Got a hot date here in about an hour. So
where you guys
30 minutes.
Do you ever talk about where you're going on your dates?
We always go to the same place.
The coffee place.
Yeah. Caldy's, because it's in between both of our offices. It's close to here. We can get there and
Caldy's in the Chesterfield Valley.
yeah. So
Yeah,
So you have
it's a
to
good
dress
place.
in a suit to go to Caldy's now? Is that the new dress code?
no,
No, it's not.
not all the time.
Not all
No, no. I'm just really trying to impress my date today.
Oh,
Oh,
good
that's
for you.
nice.
That's nice.
Now, every once in a while, you'll catch me putting there she is.
Yeah.
What do you think? God,
Nice.
take it off. See how this works? You put a suit on, she takes it off.
I like it. No, but I like it too.
Good
It works
morning.
out. No, you guys always look so good. I mean, but you guys look good without your clothes on, and you look good with your clothes off.
You've seen us with our clothes off? Wow. All
I've
right.
seen
Wait a
that
minute.
picture of the two of you
You
down
have
there.
seen
Wait a
us. Yes.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Naked.
Pretty close.
Hi, Kathy. Good morning. How are you?
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Good to
Glad
see
to have you in.
guys.
Kathy Hobig Strick, Steve Strick, Experience Realty Partners, New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage. And of course, we'll talk New Age Health Wellness, newagehealthwellness.com in just a second. Kathy, what a story to come right out of the gate. I get a text from who texted us the information,
Heather
Lizzie?
Harms. She's an avid listener, and if I am right about this, she is in the mortgage business.
Okay.
but
I was
not
going to say,
around
how
here.
the heck did she hear about that?
She lives in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and she listens, and she sent that to me, and so I sent it to Vic, and I'm like, we need to ask Kathy and Steve this question.
What's
Well, they don't
going
know what the
on?
question is.
What is
Yeah.
the question?
Okay.
We-
You tell me that the head of the National Realty Association, is that
National
right?
Association of Realtors.
She quit out of blackmail.
Yes.
Now, this sounds like something great for Life Unrestricted.
We got so many things.
It's
we
not-
haven't gotten to yet.
Life Unrestricted, their show, which we'll be talking about in a second, too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was breaking news this week. More troubles plaguing the National Association of Realtors. Tracy Casper was the president-elect that stepped in early last year when the president of NAR resigned after a lot of allegations regarding sexual harassment and just abuse in the workplace and stuff like that. So there was a huge shakeup in the leadership there, and several people left. And then the CEO, Bob, he testified for the trial, but he resigned before. He was a year early for retiring. So he retired early. There's some other people that retired early. So Tracy Casper kind of picked up the mess and was taking it on herself and just trying to rehabilitate the look and feel of the National Association of Realtors. And then boom, all of a sudden Monday headlines hit that Tracy Casper has stepped down amidst allegations of, she admitted somebody was trying to blackmail her into, I guess, changing her position on some things. And it was over personal matters. It says it's non-financial. No one has leaked yet what the personal matters might be, but apparently they felt like it was in the best interest of everybody for her to step down immediately. So that's what happened.
Was this a paid position?
Yes. I believe that one's paid.
Was it I wonder if it's a highly paid position.
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I had we were talking about this last night. I had very minimal involvement with the associations over the years because I've just been so busy. I kept my head down and selling. And, I was served on a committee one year. It wasn't my thing. It's very politically driven. A lot of the people that are, you can lead it.
135,000.
135,000 is what.
Oh, you found it already?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's a lot of notoriety on top of it.
For sure.
It's like being the president.
Yeah. And, like I said, the political side of it is the RPAC, which is the Realtor, Political Action Committee, is involved in trying to lobby for the right candidates to be senators and congressmen and congresswomen that are pro real estate agendas. So that's really what a lot of the association revolves around. And I just never took a huge interest in that.
Literally, Heather says right out of the gate, she's now joining us. She's like, why is the world so corrupt? It's like, everything.
I wish we
It's
knew
crazy.
the answer to that.
Yeah.
It's why I call it.
It's just-
Greed, right?
It's
great. It's a battle between good and evil. I always talk about that. The
it definitely
bad
feels
spirits.
like that association's being targeted.
Why? Okay,
And by
this
who?
is a bigger
By
deal.
who? We don't know.
BlackRock.
Yes.
Maybe. Could be.
They've
Dude,
got
I
money,
don't
right?
know.
Yeah.
There's
Or-
other big realtor names
I'm just
out there
suggesting,
that are trying to come up with a different type of organization that's an alternative to the National Association of Realtors. If they fall, no one knows what the future of that association is going to look like. It's
Wow.
It's a little shaky. And they could go bankrupt with these.
How does it affect real estate? How does it affect people who are
real
watching?
estate in a couple of ways. So the industry, because of the National Association of Realtors, they are the ones that came in and created the term realtor. So you can be a real estate agent and not be a realtor. That's how they say it, realtor, and not realtor. But the point is, behind the Realtor Association, there was a separate set of rules in addition to the statute rules of what your state has for real estate. So the National Association of Realtors back in the day came up with a code of ethics that is an extra layer of rules and restrictions that as a realtor you have to abide by.
So a realtor and a real estate agent is two different things?
Correct.
Okay, I never knew
Yes.
that.
It's
Neither did I.
trademarked. Yeah, it's trademarked. You cannot
Well, they're
use
part of the association.
You
is
pay
what
the
it is.
realtor dues. You're part of the association. You have to abide by the ethics of the Code of Realtors.
So of the
Realtors.
3 million licensed real estate agents,
1.5
million
are
are
realtors.
realtors.
I guarantee people have no idea.
I didn't know that.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't
and they
even
also
know
don't know
I
that
say realtor.
they don't have serial. They also
I
don't
do
know
say
that.
realtor, by the way.
Very good.
I got corrected early on in my career
Yeah.
by a realtor, but realtors
It's like a
say
joke. It's a
realtors
joke in our
all the
industry.
time.
It's like realtor in
yeah,
our industry.
like,
That
yes,
makes
all right,
sense
all
why
right.
people, I have been
Yes.
corrected,
Just
but
call
I
me
didn't know what
Steve.
that meant. It's like the difference between a lawyer and an attorney. You can be a
Yes.
lawyer without being an attorney, but you
Yes.
can't be an attorney without being a lawyer.
Right. And for a while, it was it's a badge of honor. Like we're supposed to be a cut above the rest,
For a while.
right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's kind of being attacked, and internally there are a lot of realtors that are wondering, why do I want to even stay in this organization? Maybe I don't want to keep paying the fees that I got to pay to be part of it. Maybe I'll cut loose. But the problem is, depending on where you're at, if your MLS is part of the board of realtors, so like our St. Louis Board of Realtors and our St. Charles Board of Realtors in Franklin County, like they use the MLS system that requires right now that you can't have that benefit unless you're a board member. And if you're a board member, you got to also be a board member of Missouri and national. So it's kind of forcing the hands of real estate agents in certain territories to have to support the associations and be a member. Otherwise, you don't get access to the multiple listing service, which would be, critical in trying to sell a house and not have the multiple listing service. So a lot of commercial agents and things like that are not realtors because they don't have to be they don't need that MLS.
So they can just go do whatever they want to do.
So they're usually just real estate agents
They have loop mills.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless they practice both. If they practice both residential and commercial, then they're in the St. Louis area, they're going to need to be a realtor to get access to the MLS.
And that can change from state to state, I guess.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't know.
More and more, we're seeing people start to because of all this happening, because of the black eyes on NAR, because of the commission lawsuits, they're starting to have some that say, listen, we're not requiring membership anymore. Some brokerages are saying we're not, because even the brokerages were saying, hey, if you work for RE/MAX or EXP or Keller Williams as an agent, you have to be a board member.
And they're not saying that anymore.
Some are not.
Some are not. Okay.
I want to know why the industry has been attacked so much. I mean, there's no doubt.
It's crazy.
And I know it's so simple just to go, just stop. Things happen, life happens. But man, I just see too many dots being connected where it just seems as if the industry is being attacked on purpose.
Yes.
And over and over and over again, which is why I feel as if something's been attacked, then you have to stand up and be stronger and support the realtors and real estate agents and mortgage industry.
They're trying to take away the opportunity for home ownership, so that
it does look like that.
And that is
on
part
something
of
else.
That's part of what we're hearing about this with BlackRock and Open Door and First Key and all of that. That's what they're telling us. Beware of those, because they're trying to take away not only the right to have a realtor or a real estate agent, but to own your home at all.
And we're talking with Kathy Helbig Strict of Experience Realty Partners, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Give her team a call. We talk about this all the time. If you have any questions, you got to go with somebody that, number one, knows more than anybody else. Number two is going to have you prepared. And three is kind enough to just spend the time with you. That's what they do. And of course, from the mortgage standpoint, with Steve Strict of New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage. Steve, if we can run his phone number, that would help too, Pro Joe, when we do that. Heather says they are going after everyone's livelihood, so we'll all depend on the government. Yeah, that's certainly an opportunity that people like to think about. By the way, Steve's phone number, if you want to give him a call when it comes to the mortgage industry, 314-374-0770, 374-0770. We also just had a question about MLS.
Yes.
I'm curious, it just with two question marks regarding the conversation that we were just having. Does it affect that in a certain sense as well, where people are going after, or powers that be, MLS listings?
Yeah, they're trying to decouple the agenda.
Okay, explain this to me.
Which I'm not necessarily against that idea. But it really, everything just kind of, so decoupling means that you don't have to have one to have the other, right? So you have to be a board member to have access to the MLS. And then the MLS came out, well, actually, the National Association of Realtors came out with, like I said, the clear cooperation thing. This is what's really brought it all to a head back in 2020, is requiring that if you take a listing, it has to go into a multiple listing service within so many days of you doing the contract with the client. And we used to not have to do that. You could have MLS exempt properties for years. Well, that's where pocket listings were born from. So you get a contract that says, hey, you're going to pay me if I sell this house, but I'm going to make you MLS exempt, whether the client knew it or not. Now, they should know it. They should be signing the form, and there should be transparency. There are definitely some unscrupulous agents over the years that used it to the detriment. But we're going to keep you MLS exempt for whatever reason. There could be reasons that I got to replace my carpeting and paint. I just don't want it in the MLS. I'm a private person. I don't want it to end up on Zillow and Realtor.com. Like, there's all kinds of reasons why people don't want their house to be publicly out there, whether it be temporarily or long term. So the clear cooperation came in after the reign of the market snapping back and it's starting to turn into this seller's market. They came back and said, wait a minute, we're losing control. because agents are coming up with their SEO themselves. They're buying keyword placement. They're using social media. They're using other terms, ways to get the houses out in front of the public without using us. And that's problematic because, and this is true, we're losing the data, right? So the more off-market properties that are sold, then there's no central database to go back and do those comparables.
No, data's a good thing.
Or get pictures of, or that kind of. So I get that was a problem for that. So they had to come up with a solution by saying, listen, all realtors, not real estate agents, all realtors that list a property now, nationwide, because this is a National Association of Realtors thing, has to have it in the MLS within 5 days, or at least that's what our area is, 5 days of it being signed. Now, it doesn't have to be on Zillow because there's different sections of the MLS, but it has to at least be registered with them.
Mm-hmm.
It could still stay an off-market property. You can still sell it off-market, but eventually when it closes, that data is going to be there. So that's really what spurred a lot of these lawsuits, is because to go in the MLS says, well, you have to cooperate with other agents. You can't hold it to yourself, and you have to offer to pay them.
This is so complicated.
So complicated. So complicated. And that's where Catchmark and all these people came in and said, that's not fair. You can't make a seller force them to pay the buyer agent side of things. We're going to sue.
That's Kathy Helbig-Strick, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Give her and her team a call if you have any questions. Of course, as we've been talking about, Steve Strick with New American Funding, powered by Square Mortgage. You can give Steve a call as well at 314-374-0770, 314-374-0770. With everything that we're talking about from a real estate standpoint, with the woman quitting from the position, anything else of happening this last week? Any news, good news, bad news, indifferent happening in the real estate industry? And of course, from a mortgage standpoint as well. And then I've got frustration with Jamie Dimon. I know he doesn't control your whole industry, but he's frustrating me. And I'll tell you why in just a little bit.
In a lot of ways.
Go for it, hon. What's the good news update?
The good news update. Exactly.
Your date. You guys got a date coming up. That's the good news.
That's all I've got.
And a new listing. No. That's always good news.
So exactly what we said was going to happen, starting to happen. The year changed, and I put a video out, but for all the listeners that didn't get to see it, back when rates were in the 3, let's call it 2022, and before that, there were usually about 50 million plus buyers ready to buy. 50 million buyers in the country, pre-approved, ready to rock and roll, and close on a deal. As soon as rates went up, and this was up until 2.5 weeks ago, that number went all the way down to 22 million.
Wow.
So less than 50%, right? And what we said what was going to happen is when rates start to drop, more people are going to get interested in getting to the market. Guess what happened in the last 2 weeks? In the last 2 weeks, 8 million people got back into the market. Now,
in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, because rates dropped, right?
Right.
So they hear rates drop. Turn of the year happens. We've been saying this for months.
You have.
Yes. And what happened is literally 22 million turned into 30 million. Mortgage applications have gone up a lot in the last 2 weeks, which is awesome. We're excited about that. But this trend's going to continue. So as rates go down, guess what? More people are going to get into the market. More people are going to be driving competition, and you're going to be paying more for the low inventory that's out there. So, I think it's great news. We're starting to see it turn a little bit.
So if you're paying more, people don't want to hear that, but that's part of the game.
That's why in the next
supply
2 to 4
and demand
months is the best time to buy a home. Literally,
we're not being commercials. We're really seriously feeling like that's a true statement.
Yeah.
Well, so your advice is if you're thinking about it, maybe for 2024, jump up now. I mean, you could save a ton of money, I guess, right? If you are able to pull the trigger sooner rather than later.
I mean, theoretically, if you can make offers before everybody else is also out there making offers, then statistically you should be able to get a house for less money.
No, that makes sense.
Are you still going to find a house that has multiple offers right now? Probably.
Are they talking, I guess, when it comes to mortgage industry, are you hearing from, quote, experts or people who are deciding rates, or the industry that you're in? I mean, it continues to go down and down and down.
As far as the rates are concerned? Yeah. I mean, you talk to a lot of experts, but a lot of them have different information.
Yeah.
So it depends who you talk to. But I mean, the consensus is that rates are going to go down. We just don't know how much.
But it seems to me that we were just talking about BlackRock and how they don't want us to own anything. Yes, having the interest rates higher is not a good thing, but it still seems to me, if you don't own a home right now and you have the ability to do so, but you're just not doing it because the rates are going up, you need to buy one anyway.
Yes.
And then just wait till the rates go down, because they eventually will, because if
Correct.
not, you're still renting and you're doing what BlackRock wants you to do.
Right. The purchase price of your house is a one-time event. Your interest rate is not.
Correct.
Well said.
Yeah, that's well said.
Period.
Yeah.
Well, I get interested with Jamie Dimon. How much control does he really have?
A lot.
The billionaire from JP Chase Morgan.
You watch Jamie Dimon and the things that he says, it manipulates the market a lot. So,
and he knows
what
that.
you're talking about.
Yeah, and he knows it. Well, I got frustrated because it became so public, and I don't know why, but he put a ton of money, or as much as he could. He invested and backed Nikki Haley for president.
Saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, where did that come from?
Mhm.
And what business past does she have that makes him get comfortable about her?
Well, Jamie
And it makes me start to wonder, okay, can I trust this Jamie Dimon backing of Nikki Haley, and why?
Jamie Dimon's not the only billionaire backing Nikki.
I
That
heard,
says a
You
lot.
know, there are other hedge funds that are definitely supporting her, and she didn't
Mhm.
have all that support at one time. So whatever's happening amongst those guys, the controllers of the economy, we don't know what's happening. But here's what I will say. At least we've got some big players supporting that side, because it seems like there's a lot of money on the other side that is working towards the corruption. And,
okay.
and maybe that
Okay.
we can even the playing field. I did hear his interview yesterday or this morning, and he was talking about Nikki Haley, and he just said that Nikki Haley versus Joe Biden would be a good thing.
Well, okay, I can't disagree with that, though. I mean,
Now, he did come out and say Trump wouldn't be, but
okay,
maybe that's what he's thinking because he's putting his money behind her.
that could be.
Sherry says JP Morgan set to file bankruptcy January 23rd. I
don't
hadn't
know
heard
anything
I've
that.
never
about
that.
that, but that could just be a corporate restructuring. There's
Okay.
companies that file bankruptcy all the time. That bankruptcy sounds terrible, but on your balance sheet, sometimes it's magical.
You know what? It is interesting. Odyssey, massive radio ship owner, this last week we heard filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy restructuring.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They own Camo X,
Yeah.
and they have a $2 billion debt.
Yeah, it's gone.
And I'm like, oh my God, how do you just restructure and continue to go forward on $2 billion?
Yeah, a lot of companies they'll call bankruptcy corporate restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they got. Kathy Hubig Strick, Steve Strict here. When it comes to your company, your New Age Health and Wellness, that's always a positive because so many people are going, so many people are getting excited, so many people are being helped. Where are you guys with the industry and when it comes to construction? Because I haven't seen any videos, I guess, recently of the Lake St. Louis location being built.
Not a lot of changes on the surface.
Right.
That's the first one that's going in, and then the one that's more South County, right?
We
The
made
second.
an audible.
Yeah.
Oh, an auto. Okay, here we are. Let us know.
Oh,
Yeah.
On the third.
Tell them where it's at, babe.
You know.
So you've got your
Fair.
Ladue location, right?
We might be pulling from Valley Park and switch over to a nice location in De Pere.
Okay.
okay.
So remind everybody where your New Age Health Wellness locations are right now and the ones that are coming then.
We're in O'Fallon, Illinois right now. We're in Ladue. We are in Lake St. Louis in about 45 days.
Damn, that's going fast.
Maybe less.
And everybody asks where in Lake St. Louis. You know where Walmart is in the Hawks Ridge off of Ronald Reagan, directly across from Walmart by that Massage Luxe.
Right next door.
Yep.
Yeah.
The new Club Fitness is kind of catty corner across the street, but we're literally across the parking lot
Great
from.
area.
Somebody wanted me to ask you this last week when you guys were here before you took off, and I didn't have a chance to ask, but what would you say is the largest portion of your customers, what they're getting, what they're needing, getting help with when they come into New Age? Because you have many products,
Yeah.
but is there one thing that is the most right now?
I think we're about 50-50, aren't we, on hormones and medical weight loss?
It might be a little heavier on the medical weight loss. Yeah, I mean, it's really
Slightly.
close. Cass, right. It's close to 50-50.
Yeah.
So we
And I can tell you, I've done the medical weight loss and I've done the hormones as well. My hormones were wearing out because I'm on pellets right now, going back and forth between pellets and injections. And I can tell you there's a huge difference in your motivation, in your energy. So I'm still a huge proponent of hormones. So even if you need a little bit of medical weight loss, don't forget about that part too. That's your long-term, like get your weight off fine, but your long-term feel good is getting your hormones balanced and getting your sex drive back and getting your energy back and sleeping a little bit better. And it's not there yet, hon. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding. He's patting my leather behind.
That's awesome.
I couldn't see that, and Lizzie's laughing. I'm like,
She heard it.
I know, I heard it. I didn't look, but I thought maybe I should look.
normally you look like that when you talk about balls, but you didn't say balls.
Well, I have
And-
something I could be saying about that, but I just won't.
I know where you're at.
Yep.
It is date day for the
That's
Strix.
right.
It's true. It's true.
Your office or mine?
Fuck it, both.
True. There's no heat in mine, so talk about no balls.
Oh,
That would be a problem.
that would be a problem.
What the hell's going on with your
I don't
office?
know. We got a HVAC guy coming today.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday.
That's an issue.
That is
Yeah, it was out last year it took the landlord a month to get new HVAC, and the part wasn't this. It was a disaster.
Hey,
Almost
by
a
the
month.
way, I want to let you guys know something before you go. You guys have done a phenomenal job launching Life Unrestricted. Your
the
videos.
teasers, just the teasers.
I know,
right
but
now.
your videos are, I mean, they're as good as anything I see
Yeah, they're
on the
great.
web, anywhere.
Thank you.
The concepts, the designs. I mean, whoever you guys are working with, fantastic job.
Apparently,
I mean,
we're getting a lot of views on those.
Yeah, they're
without
great.
any
It just-
ads or anything. So
no,
great.
it's, I know, it's a matter of time.
Encouraging.
It's big. That's
I'm
why I
still
was
nervous to let it loose
Why? Why?
because it's becoming unrestricted, and I'm so restricted my entire life. It's hard. We've already hit some battles, like some pushback, right? Of
Like
talking about
between
certain
you
Oh,
two
you mean
having a
you two.
pushback?
From our children.
No, from
Oh,
children. And when we say something to friends that don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
the way that we think,
Ah,
it's gonna
I'm good with it.
happen, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm good with it.
But how can you? But here's my. But that's the whole thing. It's like how can?
You can't be unrestricted without any controversy. or
Yes.
there's going to be
Correct.
or
controversy.
anybody
Correct.
that doesn't agree. I mean, that's the
It's
way
going
it
to be
is.
controversy.
Yeah.
People can be friends or true friends and disagree on certain things, right?
They're
Totally.
going to
agree.
disagree.
If you're true
They're gonna
You're
friends,
disagree.
true
Right.
friends.
Yes.
Right. You find
And
out
there's
if
not
they're
judgment. I guess that's my biggest challenge is how to present some of these topics and take a stand for what I think and believe and feel without coming across judgy.
Robert says, "Go!" Exclamation point. Just go, Kathy.
Go.
Go.
there you go, Robert.
I'm going to.
Love it, man.
Yes, and it will offend your kids, but
It's
think
gonna
about it.
offend.
Because some things that I say on here, I will hear about it later from
Yeah.
my kids, and half of them like it, and half of them
Yeah.
are like, "Do you have to talk like
Yes.
that? Do you have to
Well,
do that?"
and
I'm
a
like,
lot of our
What's
topics are going to be
About
about
balls?
sex and
But I-
relationship.
They're okay with the balls, believe
A
it or
lot of our
not.
topics are about sex and relationships. For the
Right.
kids,
I
Yeah.
mean,
they're like, ugh, you know. But yeah, we're going to talk about strip clubs. We're going to talk about swinging. We're going to talk about
Good.
pornography.
Whoa,
I want
whoa,
to talk
whoa,
about
whoa,
all
whoa.
that
I
stuff
love it. I love it.
and the pros
So
and
you
cons of
guys-
everything. And when it doesn't, it's going to get heated. I know it.
well, I know you guys aren't into swinging, so do you have friends that are? And
Yes.
this is a
We don't go
problem.
to strip clubs either, but
You're
it's
not
just
the
by
swingers
choice.
and you're not the strip club, but
Correct.
but all of us know people, or at least assume people might be.
Mhm.
And there's no judgment.
Let's get it on.
I know,
Unrestricted.
right? It's
That's
gonna
the
be
thing, there's no
good. It's gonna be
judgment. It's a
good.
talking point.
Right.
And at one time, maybe I did walk into a strip club, but I don't do it anymore.
Right.
And I
right.
have not
Thank you,
since I
Lisa.
met
I'm dying.
my beautiful wife. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
there you
we
go.
want to talk about that. Like, why?
these are choices that you make.
Their choices, and there's consequences to every
Yes.
choice. For
Every
example,
choice.
Yes,
we
there
lived in
is.
Swing Haven, and we actually
Yes.
lived in a place called Spyglass.
So you had
And I
people
know-
just
Yes.
spying in your windows?
They were all literally swingers.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody
That's
that lives there in that
crazy.
street, but we didn't know it. We moved in
Right.
there, one of the very few that weren't swingers. We did not partake, but
Approached?
several times, and naive me didn't understand that's what was being happened.
Right.
But at the end of the day, no one on that street that I know is even married anymore.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. If you want to do that,
Yes.
you do you.
That's
but
my thing
there's going
too.
to be
What is
jealousy.
the long term?
No matter
These are
what.
interesting stories.
because there's
Yeah.
short-term
That's good stuff, though.
gratification
Yeah.
in exchange for long-term
Consequence.
consequences.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
You know, I have a funny story. I was invited over to a house. I just met this couple. I had no idea. I'm just kind of, I don't want to say aloof, but maybe I'm just like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm
You
just,
go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of nice. I mean, there was
Okay,
a
say
family
it.
connection. I had to be careful.
You see, you're restricting yourself.
Well, they're not, I guess they were parents of other sports.
Yes.
Long story short is, hey, why don't you come over? Just, we got along. He's come over, have a coffee. So I was like, yeah, well,
A
I
coffee?
anchor. So I anchor late, but I'll come over early morning. He's like, let's just talk. And he's like, we'll talk business. So I go to their house and he's there, and we're just sitting there. Then the wife comes out.
Mhm.
And like is trying to give me breakfast and everything. And then the wife sits down and then he leaves. And then
Being
he's like,
groomed.
and then I
Yeah,
was
you were.
basically
Yeah.
being asked, like, well, she's taking the kids to school and then she'll be back. And then I was, well, how do you feel? Do you have girlfriends? Do you,
You were being
because I
groomed.
was,
Right.
I was newly
Yeah.
single,
Yeah.
unmarried. And I'm like, and I still didn't realize it. And we talked, we're going to come back. And I started talking to some friends. I was like, and they're like, Vic, wake the up. What do you think's going on?
Right, right.
It's like, this isn't live. I've been married for 16 years.
Yeah.
I dated
Yeah.
my wife for 10 years before that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you walk right in the door of this situation. I know I did. People
Yeah.
were asking my address and put me in a book. And I thought,
Oh,
well,
shit.
how nice
Yes.
that the street has a book.
How
Yes.
nice with notes.
There you go.
Yeah,
They're not there
no.
yet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We
Yeah.
moved out of there so fast. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, sorry that we moved out of there because I loved that house. And
Yeah.
all of the swingers are
Everybody
gone
left
anyway.
because they divorced. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys are killing it. It's great to always have you in. By the way, we could talk to you for hours. You guys are so damn good at this.
Yeah, they are.
Give them
Maybe
a call.
we'll talk about some of those subjects once we roll.
Yeah.
Once
Three,
we
one.
roll those
Excellent.
topics.
314-276-SOLD. Give Kathy and her team a call. We tell you every week. I know 2023 was a really bad year for real estate, but it's going to pop. It's starting to pop right now. Steve's talking about the mortgage industry, the rates going down. Kathy, you said you have a brand new listing. Did you want to talk about the listing at all really quick, or does it matter now?
I'll reveal it next week because I got to lock down their price today. But it's a villa out in St. Charles. Very, very nice villa with a finished lower level.
Love it.
Yeah, in St. Peter, St. Charles area. So I just got to get their price figured out today.
I am not going to curse this by saying this, but she does have a really, really, really big deal in her contract right now.
Yes, thank the Lord.
And we will be able to announce that when it closes at the end of the month.
Oh, nice.
It's one of the biggest in St.
Love
Louis.
it.
Yeah, you guys are great people. You've helped so many people out in the community. You've helped me out. You're helping me out. We love you guys being here. You support Cancel This. You're just great, patient people that try to help people. So we're grateful for your time.
Love you guys.
Give them a call. Kathy Helbig Strick, Steve Strick. Steve's phone number as well for our viewers on the screen. If you're a listening podcast person today, his phone number once again is 314. We give you that 374-0770.
Oh, and if Glenn is out there, I'll talk to you later today, Glenn.
Okay.
St. Peter's, Lori.
Glenn Thompson.
Give me a
yeah.
call.
Did he have a question?
No.
Okay.
He contacted
McClay.
me on the side
Okay, good.
about some new age stuff. So
All right,
Nice.
fantastic.
Great. Good.
And update the bridge. Robert wants to know about the bridge.
bridge is all good.
Everything got took
our
care of with
bridge.
MSD.
Yeah. No, I mean,
no, we're still.
I don't even have time to deal with it. So
Okay.
You got so many other good things going on.
pick your battles, as Kath would say.
Yeah.
We paid the bill.
Yeah.
Lori says if it's in Cotterville, she has a buyer.
It's St. Peter's. St. Peter's right off of McClay, Lori.
Oh, yeah.
Off of McClay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good area.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, thank you. Have an awesome day. Enjoy your
Thank
day.
you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good
All
week.
righty. Thanks again. Kathy Helbig Strick, Steve Strick. They come in on Wednesdays. Love to catch up with them from that standpoint. Great all around people, great business people. And of course, you see them here every Wednesday. If you have any questions, give them a call. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, you guys do look good in your suits and dress.
So
That's
handsome. Both
yeah,
of them.
very, very,
Just
very nice.
Kathy.
This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Not only do we appreciate Experience Realty Partners, New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage as being sponsors, but also Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley. All of our partners, by the way, you can just go to our partners page, cancelthisshow.com, click on the partners page, and it takes you right to their website. They know that you're looking at their information that way. Amini's, leading supplier of traditional and infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. Of course, you know what they do from a furniture and gaming standpoint as well. We've got Route 66 Cannabis, Ham Hamraz coming up in just a little bit, Strategic Air Services, where we broadcast live out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, the St. Louis Airport. We heard Spirit in the Chesterfield Valley, the premier private transportation providers in all things aviation from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. WeQuip USA, a peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters can go and find items. If you need to rent something for a day, for a week, it's really cool. And also, if you have something, an item you think people may want to rent, you can download that as well. You can make money. And of course, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley as well. Some of the best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meat you're going to find anywhere. We appreciate you guys jumping in before we talk to him coming up at 9:30. A topic that is, it's near and dear to our hearts here. It's illegal aliens coming into this country. Just look at some of the video. that's going on right now in New York. What you have are 2,000 students being removed from their schools and being told, oh, yeah, illegal aliens are going to take over your schools now. You're going to learn remote.
That is awful.
Was this all a plan, part of the COVID situation?
Oh, I think it was.
Where they knew what they were going to do when it came to just send you home. And remote learning has been a disaster. There may be a few people here and there, kids here and there, that can do it and learn well from home and love that kind of it. But most kids don't. They don't learn well in the structure. Look at the video of migrants, illegal aliens being dropped off and going to schools, and then kids being taken out of schools. And then here, those kids are leaving the bus, and here the bus is arriving in New York City. Illegal immigrants coming in to take over schools. How long does this happen? They don't have any other place to put them. Eric Adams, the mayor, is doing this crap, and he's kind of calling out Biden. But, of course, they're Democrats, and Democrats stick together. Republicans stab each other in the back with the biggest knives you can imagine. Democrats have each other's backs.
Well, and they're blaming it on the weather, that all these migrants are on some sort of a field, that's where they were giving them lunch and all that. And because of the weather, now they have to put them in there. But do you think they're ever going to have them come out when the weather gets nice? I mean, that's a telltale sign right there.
It's not easy to improve your life, but you have to go through whatever crap you can. And you came here. You made a decision to come here.
Correct.
And a lot of times in life, we make decisions based on information that we were given. I've made some terrible decisions based on information that I was given from business standpoints. I can tell you that much. But guess what? If you get told something doesn't happen, that's your fault. If you make a decision, that's your fault. And I'm sorry. What happened to our kids?
Right. And like Jay is saying, let them be cold. They came over here.
There's nothing wrong with you choosing kids staying in school
100%.
As opposed to illegal aliens being cold outside.
Correct.
They're here illegally. You can't even have a conversation. They're illegal. I'm sorry. You better talk to the president. And that's where media and attention start to pull on your heartstrings. Well, it'll just be for this. And you give a little and you give a little and you give a little and you keep giving and giving and giving until you don't recognize where you are anymore.
Well, and they just call them asylum seekers and that they're over here for a better life. Okay, well, so are the kids that are in school. They want a better life, so they go to school.
That was a massive problem I had with Nikki Haley because she wants to give them, the illegal aliens, pretty much everything. And I've got an issue with that.
Correct.
Because she hasn't really thought about the whole process and who it affects.
Well, she got those donors, and that would make sense that those donors want that to happen because they want to own everything. They don't want us to own our homes and stuff like that. And that's why I don't.
If you're parents, what do you do? Do you move? Do you try to move?
You know what? And I looked this up and it looked like it was kind of in an impoverished more of an area. So those parents probably can't just pick up and move them to a private school.
You can try to protest, but then you have jobs and then it's difficult to protest.
Correct. Because I would, without a shadow of a doubt, they did that to my kid. That would be the last day my kid would ever go to that school. I would move them either to a different public school or then put them in, parochial school. There would be no way. But when you pick on the people that are already having monetary issues, they just
We're talking about 2,000.
Yes, 2,000. Yes. And like people on the chat line are saying, Haley is bought and paid for. And that's the rough thing. That's who they're going to try really hard to overseat, so to speak, President Trump. And of course, she's Republican, so I would vote for her over Joe Biden. But damn, they're shoving this all in our face, all of it.
By the way, it's James Madison High School, which was about 5 miles away from this field where they're going, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that the Biden administration and that officials gave you false information and that word started to circulate out that, some people are getting cell phones and prepaid cards. And I know that those things have happened, but that's not for everybody. It shouldn't be for anybody. I'm sorry that you got, this envision of you're going to be given this and that, and you deserve this and that, and all the entitlement. Deal with, go back. If you're cold,
get out of here.
Ask for a one-way ticket back to where you came from. And there is nothing wrong with saying that. Nothing.
And that's the problem. They're coming over here and complaining and demanding. We hit that every week. They come and they demand. And think about these little kids. Okay, they get on the bus and think about what it's doing to their emotional state. We've already seen the statistics that children that do remote learning, suicides are up. The kids can't add. They can't subtract. Hell, the kids can't even read. So then you take them out. But then think about their psyche walking to the bus, knowing that these illegal adults, and most of them are men, are more important to them. Imagine the psyche. Nobody talks about the human psyche of these little kids. And then if that place becomes a school again, these migrants, well, illegal aliens, not asylum seekers, they trash everything they touch. They're going to ruin the shit out of that school.
Over 2,000
poop all over it.
Over 2,000 illegals, or excuse me, over 200,000 illegals in New York just in the last year and a half. And I guarantee it's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
And they don't have anywhere, and they all need food.
Yes.
They need medical care. They need clothes. They need education. They need a place to stay, lodging. I mean, once again, we've talked about it on this show from the start. We'll continue to do it. It's the worst thing. It's the number one problem in this country right now. It's not what sex you are. It's not all this other bullshit that's out there.
Yeah, those are just distractions.
Democrats have tried to go to the socialist agendas. Go to the social issues if you can't win with regular policy.
Correct. And I would love to, some of the people on the chat line are saying, would love to hear from the parents, but you're not really hearing that much. I've heard a little clips of some parents that were slightly distressed, but what's more distressing than that is some of them are like, well, we understand, we understand that they, we at least have housing and they don't even have housing. That is just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I don't know where this is going. I don't know how it's even going to get better. But I do know this, it's going to get worse.
It is definitely going to get worse.
Millions more on the way, because we have a situation that's going on in Ecuador now too. I mean, literally live TV yesterday. I think we even have video of that. I mean, you have Ecuadorian gangs taking over television crews, reporting live.
Correct.
Taking them hostage. Now, last thing I saw, last report, was that the government was able to take these cartels out or get people back, but I don't know. I mean, you're Ecuador being run. This is 2024. And if you don't think this can't happen in the United States, look at it now. This is stuff that's going on in Ecuador. This was at a college camp. They went there and just started taking hostages, kidnapping.
That is really scary.
Lawlessness is everywhere. It's becoming more prevalent. It's coming to the United States. It's not getting any better. Red Queen tells us there are U.S. legal citizens that don't have houses. Americans need to come first for once. And I'm telling you, you got a candidate, Donald Trump, who did that, who's trying to do that. Let's not even, let us get to it. Veterans being pushed out for illegals. Anything that the Biden administration can do to destroy the country they have. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove to me I'm wrong. All I hear Democrats arguing about and wanting to talk about is Trump, 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 Trump. Case, Trump lawyers, Trump lawyer. It's like, what?
That's all they got. That's all they have. And what's interesting
January
about that,
6th.
it's
January 6th.
manufactured. These liberals are mad about what our left and our mainstream media has manufactured about Donald Trump, not even the truth. And when you ask a liberal, what are you going to do if the illegals come and take over your house? Oh, well, that's not going to happen. You're just exaggerating, Lizzie. That's not even going to happen.
Well, Troy says the elites are trying to cause civil unrest. Of course, it certainly looks that way. And then in the midst of all this other, then go tonight and watch a debate between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley on CNN. I mean, give me a break. Number one, it's going to be the lowest rated debate ever. Sure. It's on CNN. It's more of trying to push things down your throat. They're not going over to the left. the whole idea in my mind was like, well, let's try to see if we can get Nikki and Ron to go after maybe liberals. The only reason they're doing this is because they know Joe Biden is gone. He will not be running, and or at the very best is in a bad situation. They know that. Nobody's going to watch that debate. What else the hell are you going to get out of this? There's nothing else to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of that's going on, and then we have all these issues that are going on right now. On top of it, it's just shutting down schools for illegal aliens to come in. That is, I mean, that's as bad as it gets. And New York just sits back. What are they going to do? Mm-hmm. And they have more and more coming. We talk about the situation in Ecuador. There's nowhere to put people. We don't have enough money to take care of it. Mm-hmm. It is a big deal. Yep. Donald Trump said he'll remove them. He'll remove people. I'm not sure where Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley are, but we know they don't have a shot. Mm-hmm. They just don't.
Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis would try to do the same things that Donald Trump is doing. I do. I think that would be his focus. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, and we've said it so many times, there's not a war, there's not a conflict that she doesn't like. And she really, if you look at her policies, she's not really a Republican. And I hate to use the word rhino because it's so overused, but she's not doing the will of the people.
Well, it's because she worked the United Nations. She worked
correct
in the world.
And people act like that's a good thing. They act like that's
yeah,
a good
if you keep
thing.
It in perspective. By the way, thanks, right. Sneaky Nugget, reminding us that Vivek will be on the Timcast tonight. So they'll be doing that. And I don't remember if Donald Trump was doing anything tonight or not.
I haven't.
At one point in time, I thought he was.
Yeah, he had said he was going to.
And I can't remember. Yeah, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, or whether it's another candidate that we don't know yet.
Right.
They've got a effing mess sitting in front of them.
They know it. They
according
know
to Donna. They do. And we show you the video.
Yeah.
Donna says it's amazing how you can really mess up a world in 3 years. Mm-hmm. In 3 years, that's all it's taken.
Yeah.
Gary says they need to have the replacement votes from illegals to replace the Democrats that have switched over to the Republican. But
that's
then
well
again,
said.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it gets into a whole lot of things that we've been trying to cover, that we've been trying to talk about. By the way, when we were talking about Democrats just wanted to talk about January 6th, mm-hmm. Ray Epps was back in the news yesterday. Remember the guy on video that basically started January 6th? Mm-hmm. Was he a CIA agent? He disappeared for a while, came back. He only got 1 year probation.
That's crazy.
There are people in jail over J6 that did absolutely nothing or walked in. While we can agree to disagree, it shouldn't have walked in. Peaceful. You have a guy on video mm-hmm. corrupting, inciting. If anybody did anything on January 6th, it was Ray Epps.
100%.
And there's video proof of him doing it. Mm-hmm. His actions, his words. No, there's no video of it. That's right. And he gets a year probation.
Yeah, and that's it. He hasn't spent any jail time whatsoever. And I read an article where he was crying that he had to move from where he was, and now he's living in a trailer in the woods, and he can't be around his friends because so many people hate on him. I don't feel sorry for him at all.
Yeah, look up Ray Epps. Yeah, go to YouTube. Look up the Ray Epps videos. Go to TikTok. Look at the Ray Epps videos. Mm-hmm. We've shown them. I don't have them because I just saw this morning at my fingertips. But there is so much video of one man.
Yes. And
starting everything J6, and it was Ray Epps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You betcha.
And the reason this is so important is if anybody should have been in jail or had anything, it was Ray Epps, mm-hmm. not anybody else. And he has gotten the least of anything.
Correct.
Which shows you that all the rumors and everything else was true. Right. It's going on. Sneaky says it was clear he works with the feds.
Yeah, it's clear that he himself is a Fed. He is. And so he was part of all of this. And we've showed so much video, and there's so much out there that he is the problem. And everybody from the beginning that was really in tune to the J6 knew he was a Fed. And now it's coming out that if you had any doubt, you now know.
Well, I love Wednesdays because we get to talk to some of our favorite people. That includes the owner of Route 66 Cannabis, Ham Hamra, who comes in and just kind of puts things in perspective because he's such an easygoing guy.
I am so underdressed today. A jacket. Steve and Kathy were in. Here I am.
Well, but Ham does it the right way, though. He always looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm actually, I figured if I'm dressed like this, then the aliens won't get me in Miami.
Oh, okay, good idea.
Hey,
good idea.
when you go on your trip?
They're coming towards this way, I think.
Okay.
Did you see those reports?
I'm excited. I think they're going to buy all the weed in the Missouri market. I got to tell you, I think aliens love marijuana.
Hey,
well, there you go.
If people didn't know what Ham was referring to last week, was it Biscayne Mall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Biscayne Mall. You've been there.
I grew up down there.
Okay. Biscayne Mall. There were literally 100 cop cars, and they said, "Oh, it was just some teens fighting."
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. No way in hell 100 police. I think something was up there. I don't know what's going on, Ham.
When I was in Miami and I got in a fight in 9th grade, I think it was like a parent that showed up. There was two of us fighting, Yeah,
there was something much bigger than that going on.
Well, it could be another market for you, too. I mean,
Florida is medical. It's going to be a massive market when it becomes.
It's not recreational in Florida?
Yeah, no. And here's what's crazy, not to get off track.
This is on track.
Okay, this is on track. Good. Aliens and marijuana. That's going to be our new show. So, in the state of Florida, I believe there's 6 licenses total. And each of those license holders can have up to 20 dispensaries and they could put it anywhere they want. They could put their as many grow facilities, or there's a limit. I don't know all the math, and manufacturing. Where in Missouri, like it's 1 license per what you're going to be doing. It's a little bit of a monopoly.
Yeah.
I don't know I think Florida will become the biggest.
That's like cartel-esque.
Yeah. So back 3 years ago, I had the opportunity, and of course, I just was building this company, and we had so much going on. You could have bought one of those licenses from an individual, and it was $20 million, but you could put up to like 20 dispensaries, which is a steal for $20 million when you think about it. Because in Missouri, 1 license in today's market goes for like $8 million, right? So, like as far as a dispensary, so think about that. Now they're selling that. I heard there was a broker that was selling that same license. They wanted like $50 million. So it's gone up $30 million.
Oh my God.
Because everyone knows what Florida's a monopoly, and it's about to become like, if it goes rec, I mean, it's going to be, but that's another level of money, because just you buy the paper license, you still got to go build out the facilities and hire. I mean, it's,
this is it's a massive undertaking, and you've talked
maybe that's
to
why
us.
the aliens are there.
That's right. Maybe that's why.
Somebody wants to know what the hell's going on with the aliens. Okay. There were reports that people saw aliens, or 3 alien-like.
Yeah.
And then I've heard people say, well, no, it was police with flashlights that made it. Mm-hmm. Then we heard that it was the Nephilim. If you read the Bible, angels fell to heaven and then interbreeded with humans. I mean, I'm not trying to blow people too off the page right now, but
that's what's being said. Yeah.
Well, we also live in an era of little TikTokers, and they go on there, and that word spreads.
Yes.
I think if there was truly aliens down in Miami, we would have saw some kind of a video picture. I mean, with as much cell phones we have.
Right.
I agree.
I don't know. Here's how I look at it. Do I think there's something else living out there? I'm kind of crazy and think there is.
You're not crazy.
But here's how I look at it. If they are, like, I would just be like, come on in, let's hang out. Like, I'm not going to.
Yeah, but that's you. That's, of course.
Well, and I've never heard anybody.
You're great like that.
What are we
fighting aliens from? We don't even know what they want. If they come down here, we're not going to shoot them. Like, I don't want to shoot them. Maybe I'm going to learn from them.
Right. Maybe so.
That's what it should be.
I got to tell you, aliens, if you get crazy with me, I am going to shoot you.
Tucker Carlson believes that aliens are spiritual. He's been talking more about that recently as well, when it comes to maybe a fallen angel or something from that standpoint. You said
I like the comment that says, "Why would aliens come here? It's a complete disaster."
Right, for sure.
They're like, "What the fuck? Let's get out of here."
That's why they come down. The police see them and stuff, and they're like, "I ain't coming here. I am out of here."
Let's get our Cubanas. Let's get our Steriline. Let's get our Route 66 and get out. Get out of here.
Guess we wouldn't have to ID them really, because we just know they're from somewhere else.
That's right. You wouldn't even have to ID.
Yeah.
So if there's 120 licenses that would be allowed in Florida, is that what you said? 6?
20.
Only,
no, I'm sorry. There's 6 licenses. 6. One license, one individual can have up to like 20. Now, here's another caveat of Florida.
But that would only be 120, wouldn't it?
Correct, which makes it a monopoly.
Okay.
Big monopoly. But here's the other big part of Florida that I don't think they really understood. That's going to hurt them. If you own your own grow, so like one license, you can own your own grow, you're manufacturing, just like I have in Missouri, full vertical and dispensaries. But the difference in Florida is you could only sell to yourself. You can't sell to other dispensaries. I got to tell you, that's going to suck.
And you do that with your Ostara line.
My Ostara line and Cubana and then our core and some of the other things. If our clients came in to one of my stores and I only sold what I had, we'd be out of business because I would only have like 10 products, maybe 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all from me. So imagine going to, pick Walgreens, right? And they only have like Coke products. They don't sell pharmaceuticals. They don't sell anything else. That's all they sell. And you're like, okay, it's a cool place to get a soda, but where else do you have? So I don't know how that's going to work.
Man, that is interesting. Talking with Hammer Ra, he's the owner of Route 66 Dispensary, Route66Cannabis.com, 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. The newest one is in De Pere. It's at 270 in Manchester Road. The stores are amazing. I love seeing, this is where I think you're, number one, you know how to sell. And you're a businessman.
I think I do.
And you bring the best products to market. You do. Joe loves the products. I love seeing your videos and things that you're putting out in your advertising, like some of the stuff you were doing yesterday. That's great stuff. Like I see your stories with Higher Media or
Higher Media.
That's good, man. You're doing a great job.
I'm just trying to be more visible. There's not a lot of owners in my space that are super visible. And I understand why.
That's my point.
But I understand. I'm not here to knock on them. I understand they have other businesses. They're more behind the scenes. They want to live more of a private life, possibly. When I retired from my other industry, when I had both companies going, I was not as visible because you got finance one side, right, and mortgage banking, and then you got marijuana. It couldn't be any more opposite of each other. It's not like I had a bakery and a marijuana company where they kind of go hand in hand, right? So I would do a little bit of posting, but not much. But now I'm like this guy that just got out of jail, right? I've never been to jail, by the way. So I'm just free and I'm like living my best life, right?
Good for you.
And I'm promoting what I love the most. And it's funny, you'll see we made some videos yesterday. And
they're good stuff. People can check that out on your Instagram site too.
Correct.
They're at Route 66 Canna.
Yeah, my the company one, yes, at Route 66 Canna.
And at Ostar Cannabis on Instagram as well.
Right. We had another one that had like 10,000 followers, and it's been shut down twice for no reason. Like we're not selling products on there. We disclosed that, so it could be maybe
twice.
Yeah, we always are battling. I don't know. I mean, Instagram's kind of funny, and maybe it's someone reporting us because it's competition.
Well, of course, that makes sense.
But it's just silly. I'm like, it's just. Everybody's got a Canna page, but yesterday we were doing. I did a shoot 2 days ago. I'm sorry, by our South Grand one. That was the first dispensary actually opened in the city, and we recently put like a really cool mural up. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at some of the photos of the mural, but we really focused on the history of St. Louis, right? But we kept it generic because we don't have rights to any famous people here in St. Louis that are from St. Louis. So we kept it very generic, but you could read between the lines a little bit, like, the history of what we're kind of like pointing at. And we've got like the cool car, like, that's blue with it's like a convertible. And it says, if you want to meet me in St. Louis, in St. Louis, which, yesterday I made a comment. Well, when the reel goes live, I asked Nelly if he's watching when we go, that hit me up because I would love to collaborate with him and do like a blunt line.
What a great idea.
And I think
what a great idea.
So like I'm a huge Nelly fan,
great.
and like my friends that know me, like I'm a huge Nelly fan. We've had him at a few events back when I was in the mortgage industry. I love his music because it's kind of like it talks to both sides, right? As far as like how I feel about music. And I know people love him in the Missouri market. I mean, he's worldwide, but how cool would it be to collaborate with someone local, right?
That would be so great. And
so I've been manifesting this for years.
If anybody could do it, it'd be you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, it would be.
Yeah, and Nelly is great because you're right. Whether you like his music or not, you never hear anyone that says he's mean-spirited, he's not nice.
No, he's awesome.
And I love his Heartland album that has the country mixed with it. I love it. And he just
he's done such a good job.
Area.
Yeah.
I love
so I've been manifesting this for years. So you know how I get, Vic. So I'm not going to let this up until Nelly hits me up for a blunt line or a Cubana line, something, anything, just collaboration.
Oh, what a great idea. Just think about that. Talking with Ham again, the owner of Route66Cannabis.com. Check it out. Anything breaking in the last week when it comes to the industry? We always try to we know it's a fast changing business. I was just curious, number one, if anything's broke. And I had 2 more conversations this week. It just seems more and more weed, cannabis, for whatever reason, more and more mainstream. As time goes by, more and more people understand. More and more people are like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this or I'm using this. We had one of our viewers, listeners chime in. I can't remember what it was, said, I have had a rib injury and the gummies are helping me tremendously right now get through the rib injury.
You know, there's a few things that I'm working on. It's just too early to kind of like bring up because I don't want anyone else to
Right, you don't want somebody to steal it.
take my ideas.
Well, of course, your ideas are always right.
Well, they're not always right. I like entrepreneurship. I always talk. I'm just on a streak now because my first 150,000 ideas sucked. Right. So I guess it's kind of like if you're the roulette table, you play like that number, it'll finally hit.
Boom.
Yep, it'll finally hit if you just keep on going. And
Yeah,
keep
and I'm
on
that
going.
guy that screams really loud. My number hit, but then I forgot to tell you that I lost like the other 150. So I'm like, I'm still down 10 grand. This sucks.
Love it.
But the industry is definitely changing. So what I'm starting to see in the industry, which is really interesting because it puts me in a thinking stage now. There's a lot of consolidation. There's a lot of groups buying each other out, and dispensaries are starting to consolidate. And they're starting to let some outsiders in. It scares me a little bit because someone that's got 30 or 40 dispensaries has a little bit more power on how they want to direct traffic. And if it starts to go that way, I don't want to get squeezed out in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a point where you start to say, do we go and try to buy another dispensary or 3 or 4 or 5? Do we try to grow this thing to 10? Do we try to stay in our own lane and really promote that whole mom and pops small business? Because I am a small business, right?
Mm-hmm.
The industry is not a small business, but I've kept it very small, right? Because I want to be able to give that customer service. And I know, Joe, you go into the stores and you feel that, right? And, when people walk in or you walk in, you can feel that love and attention.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go away from that. I don't want to turn into Walmart.
Right.
No knock on Walmart. I'm just
Right. It's just a different feel.
Yeah, I want to
sure, when
be
you go to Walmart.
small boutique-y.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk into an Ostera, it's like or not an Ostera, Route 66. It's like going into a showroom. It's way different than any other dispensary I've ever been to.
Oh, that's good to hear too. On top of it, damn.
And I hear that. Like I had a couple of
is.
people over the weekend. They said when they go into our stores, it's over the top secure, and they feel like it's just easygoing. And I was there a few days ago in the pair, and there was a few very high profile people. I'm not going to mention their names in my store, and I was shocked actually that they were in there.
Doesn't that feel good?
And out in the open buying and not having that stigma. And of course, I didn't say anything because I knew that was probably their first time, and I wasn't going to challenge their decision of coming there. But I was so grateful to see people of that caliber that are maybe somewhat naysayers actually trying it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was refreshing.
And by the way, if you're first time, go in, tell them you're from Cancel This, get a discount on some of the product. That's a big deal, especially in the weed industry, especially when it comes to cannabis, because of how things are regulated. Ham doing a tremendous favor by giving people a discount on your first purchase, as he was talking about first time buyers. Go in, let them know you saw him on cancelthisshow.com.
I also want to bring something else up since we're talking about discounts. So one of the things that we're doing, for all of our medical patients, people that actually are truly have medical cards and have that need, because the tax rate's different on medical, right? So we're running a special now. If it's Sunday through Thursday for all medical cards, right? It's on Tuesdays. I'm getting my days mixed. On Tuesdays, if you have your medical card, you get you get 10% off, right?
On Tuesdays.
On
With
Tuesdays.
your medical card.
With your medical card. If you go with your medical card on a Tuesday and you get there before 10 a.m. and shop, you get an additional 5% off.
15% before 10 o'clock on Tuesday?
So it's called the early bird special. If you don't have a medical card and you just go in with your early bird discount, it's just 10%. But if you have both, we're giving 15%.
That's a big
and
deal.
I would like to challenge any listener that's normally listening to us during this period of time to still go in there during that and then text one of us and tell us you were there and you got the discount.
Yeah, let us know. That helps too. We appreciate it.
So people say, why are you doing that? So I'm trying to promote, the idea of what cannabis can do for you, right? Because it's plant-based. I think it's important to reward those that truly need it from a medical side because they're maybe on a more fixed budget, right? Because they're buying the car, they've always been there loyal from the first day, and I think that's a big deal. And I also think a lot of people they get there more towards the afternoon and evening, and it's busy, and that deters them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, I got to wait in a little bit of a line. I mean, it happens with everyone. So that's why we're doing, Sunday through Thursday before 10 a.m. Most of our stores are open at 8 a.m. We're getting some extended hours. We're working in Winsville to extend the hours till 10 p.m. Right now it's 8 p.m.
Could you ever get so big that you would be allowed to have licenses in other states, or is that illegal right now from a federal standpoint?
I actually do have licenses in other states, but
Okay.
I keep that quiet. It has nothing.
I'm thinking
to do
like
with
Ham right
Missouri.
now, which is why I was asking.
It's a multi-state, so you still have to win licenses in each prospective state, and you can't cross state lines. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, right? Like I'm still like a little kid in the playground. Like there's all these rumors like he's just going to build this and then flip it tomorrow morning. And I'm like, well, every business has a successor and you move on with life. It's called retirement. Did something for 23 years. I never got in the mortgage industry, so I'm doing this for the rest of my life.
You know what people want? People just want a good quality product.
Yeah.
That's the key. And you continue to give a good quality product. That's what they care about. I mean,
yeah, you want to, like, for us, our mission was to have a value brand, right? And when I say value brand, please don't misinterpret. We're like, it's a cheap product. It's just something that it's like you cut your overhead down and then you can create a value brand, right? So I don't have like, if anybody back in the day knew me, like when my first office, when I opened this company, we literally were in this tiny, crappy office with mismatched furniture, mismatched carpet. But it was very reasonable. Like it was like maybe like $1,200 a month, where some other people that had raised money and built these companies, had these 20,000 square foot facilities and all these playgrounds inside, and everybody's like, haven't made $1 yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like the crappiest office. And I'll give you something that's interesting. The people that had left there, I guess, the name of their company was collegehunks.com.
College Hunks. Okay.
I think I remember it.
I remember that. I saw billboards.
And so what's funny about it, we can never change the Wi-Fi to rename it. So when we would have to log in, it was collegehunks.com.
Love it. Love it.
And we're a cannabis company. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in the film industry and I'm selling weed. Like, what is going on? But the darn email or the Wi-Fi wouldn't change.
It's route66cannabis.com. Ham's the owner. We love talking to him on Wednesdays. It is interesting. Now, we have some fun with one of our social media superstars who comes in on Friday. She's got millions of followers all over the country, and we may be fixing her up, doing a dating game show with her on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Should we ever? Wait. I don't know if you're a single guy.
Yeah.
I know you don't need any help, but that would be interesting.
Do you drive a big truck?
No,
because you fit the beard.
I do have a big SUV.
That'd be all right.
I wasn't trying to set Ham and Kelly up.
Well, why not?
Ham.
Why not?
Oh my God! No, please don't set me up.
That would be good.
Those are always failed. Yeah. Why do you need me to have a big truck, by the way? Like,
well, because she likes a big truck. She likes a guy with a beard. She basically wants a guy with cojones, so to speak, that he's a man and not a sissy.
Well, Ham's that. He just
that's what I'm saying. You fit all of
I'd love to do it.
I'd love to do the axe once. Does that make me manly? I think I chopped some wood once.
Okay, well, she'd like that. But a big SUV would count. A big SUV.
He would apply for a Fix Him Up Friday. We got to fix her up Friday.
So we're gonna have a dating show and we're gonna have a cannabis show. I love
that. We could fix. Yeah, let's fix him up too.
That'd be the own shows.
We could start to cancel this dating show.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That would go hand in hand. If the date doesn't work out, you've been canceled. You're out.
You're bonk.
Hey, you're getting ready to take a trip, aren't you? At some point in time.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
But are we still going to catch up with you, or
I will do the show every Wednesday.
Or Patrick? Okay.
No, I will do it, and I will do it from the beach.
That's great.
But we can't say where it's at, right? Isn't it like we can't disclose it?
You can disclose it. I don't fear for my life.
Okay. The aliens are not coming to get you?
No, I mean, I have this week, before I tell you where I'm going, I've been busy because I've got like a full-time housekeeper that's going to be staying in my house. Someone's going to watch my house. Plus I have our security team, because the last time I went out of town, I got robbed. I don't know if some people know that or not.
Oh my gosh.
It's a group from Chile, the illegal immigrants, Homeland Security's involved. It's a whole It's a whole thing. I wasn't targeted. It just happens that they, but I have like facial recognition cameras in my house. So that's what helped. Where they've got 2 out of the 4 like ready to go. And they're trying to get the rest. So, but
let's
still,
see if
it's just a
hopefully
hassle.
They prosecute them.
Yeah, it's still a hassle, right? But it was funny because the police department's like, your cameras are like amazing. I'm like, well, they were designed for teenagers, not throwing parties at my house, but I guess it works for you guys too. So I've to go back to your question, Vic. So when I was running really hard in the mortgage industry for all those years, I would always tell close friends and myself that I was going to go sit on a mountaintop somewhere and like truly reflect on life and think what I want to do next. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is public speaking, entrepreneurship, talking to businesses on how to build and sacrifices. And it's not what you think, but you got to stick with it. All the good stuff, just life experiences. And I finally pulled the trigger. So I rented a villa in St. Bart's. Never been there in my life. It's a small island, but I hear it's super peaceful. But it's also a great place to like run into like influential people and possibly network. So I'm like, this would be cool. So I plan on doing a lot of journaling, a lot of like reflecting, like where I want to take this business, where I see myself in 5 and 10 years, both personally and professionally. And I think it's healthy for everyone to find, even if it's 1 hour for themselves. And I never had that time, right? I've just kind of always gone hard, and so many darts I've thrown at the board, and some have missed and some have hit. So that's what I'm using the trip for. And but I would love to still be able to do the show. I don't know I haven't looked at the time difference. I think I'll be 3 hours ahead of you, maybe.
Okay,
so
we'll figure that out.
I know, like Miami's 2.
Do we need to talk about this for next week? Or are you going to be gone before next week?
So I leave Saturday.
Okay, good. All right,
but I'll have it all figured out, and I'll text you. And
well, buddy, we appreciate you jumping in today, my friend.
Tan.
Working on your tan. Hopefully we can see the beach behind you.
Yeah.
You can.
That'll be nice.
Okay, good.
Ham, seriously, no BS. You're an inspiration. We love it when you come in, talk business, what you've got going on with your product line with Route 66. Get him, check them out. 5 stores throughout the St. Louis area. You can also get the Ostara brand line at most locations, dispensaries across the state of Missouri. Route66cannabis.com. Ham, have an awesome day, buddy, and have a better trip. We'll be in touch.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
All right, Ham. Guys, this is cancelthisshow.com. Seriously, go in and check out the products just like Joe does. When you walk in, it is a tremendous experience. They take care of you. And remember the Tuesday morning specials. Yeah. If you have your card before 10 a.m., 15% off product. That is a big, big deal, especially when it comes to the cannabis industry. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. We've got, let's see here. I was looking at some of the other things. I was making sure that we were covering everything. Hey, Joe, did we play all the video today? The videos? I can't. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to show before we leave today. And we were talking about this before Ham came in. Number one, we are big, big believers in protecting our border. It can't be talked about enough, and that's why we hit it. The second thing where we made a mission as we started 2024 was about fair elections and what's happened in elections, and to have a scorecard of what happened in 2020. Donald Trump did an interview talking. This is a 2-minute interview about what is actually happening, what needs to happen when it comes to elections. And this is so spot on when it comes to, just seriously thought out, straightforward, where I don't know how anybody could disagree with anything that he says. Here's Donald Trump talking about what we need in this country.
We were going to pay down debt. We're going to reduce taxes further. We gave the largest tax cut in history, and we were going to pay down debt further. And we were doing a great job. And then we had a very unfortunate election. Now, I know who you're involved with, so I can say it here, but sometimes they say you'll cut it out. So, why? What's the purpose? But we had a rigged election.
We don't cut anything out.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it with you. We had a rigged election. It was rigged, 100% rigged. And the question I get most is, number one, how do you take it? And I take it, I guess, because genetically I take it. I think I also take it because we're doing so well. We're leading everybody by so much. So that helps. But the other question I get the most, probably number 2, maybe number 1 sometimes, is how do we stop them from cheating? People ask me, will they do it again, sir? Because, I'm in Florida now, and I drive to various locations and airports and places. Every house has a Trump sign on it. Trump 2024. We got all the votes we need. The risk is what's going to happen during election period. It used to be election day or election night. They'd say election night. But today you don't have that. You have 60 days, 40 days, 30 days. You have some states where they have 8 days to count the vote after the election is over. How do you have an election when you have to count the vote for? And, you know, the machines are supposed to speed up the process, right? We ought to go to all paper. You know, they have now watermark paper. It's incredible what you can do with paper. Right. But we go all paper, same day voting, and voter ID, a little thing like voter ID. The Democrats are violently against voter ID because it will make it very hard for them to cheat. Can you imagine somebody saying, we don't want voter ID? You know.
Well, I know who does, and those are the Democrats. And they do for the very reason you're intimating.
Yeah.
They cheated in 2020. They cheated in 2022. Those are statements of fact. Yep. They're not, somebody can dispute them, but the facts are straightforward.
Facts are straightforward.
If that doesn't put things in perspective, I don't know. And remember, the left and those who are evil will say it's racist to have voter ID because they know that it's not racist. So they will say whatever they can to throw it against a wall to see if it sticks.
Correct. Because, I mean, that's dumb to say it's racist. That's actually saying that a minority, whether they're black or Hispanic, are too stupid to go get a driver's license. That's what they're really saying.
Yeah, Roland says, I'm black. However, will I obtain an ID? Oh, my God. Trump is racist. He's being sarcastic. Roland, I appreciate your humor. You're spot on, just as Trump is spot on. Donna says, tipping the scales. Why would you not want voter ID?
Yeah, why would you want?
Why does it have to be a voting period? It's not voter day. So well said. Bendy, once again, and we can't talk about these subjects enough. The more we talk about it, hopefully the more you talk about it. Hopefully people are encouraged to do the right thing, to push their politicians for it, whatever state you may live in across the country and whatever areas. Bendy says, I had to show ID to buy Bic lighters at Target.
See, I mean, look at that. And people are saying you need an ID to drink, go to the bank.
Holy crap.
I just bought Sudafed yesterday, and I had to show them an ID.
But you don't, in many states, have to show an ID to vote.
That is just craziness. And how anyone can say something wasn't irregular and wrong that lends to the cheating is what happened that night. I mean, we've gone over it so many times, but it's that night. When you wake up in the morning, you should 100% know. Look at the lottery. They know who wins the lottery. I mean, look at all these other things. I mean, Dancing with the Stars, for crying out loud. They can figure that out with votes coming in within an hour. So come on. We know they've cheated. Everyone knows they cheated. They know they cheated. And if any regular Democrat that you talk to says anything else, I'd ask them how they didn't cheat. They can't. They just make it up. They will just start calling you a name. They'll call you a racist. Donald Trump is a racist. That's all they know how to do because they know there was cheating. They know.
Well, we know that information that we talk about, that we bring to you, some of it is information that's clearly out there. Some of it you haven't heard about. Some of it we just take information that's out there and we go to a deeper level. But don't forget, the immigration and the voting. The immigration and the voting are two massive, massive, massive issues, especially after all the evidence that we've shown of what happened in 2024. And that's what we'll continue to do on this show every day. What we like to and affectionately call the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. And we have called it that for years, all the way back to the radio show as well. And we are grateful for all the support that you give. If you have ideas for advertisers, sponsors, people that would like to give us a donation to help us do what we do, to continue to pay our bills so that we can continue to do the job that we do, let us know. Vic at cancelthisshow.com. Also, if you're interested in renting the studio, doing your own podcast, let us know. We had 3 other shows tape on the same day yesterday. 3 shows yesterday taping. Another one, Joe Show, tapes Friday night. So just let us know. Vic at cancelthisshow.com, Lizzie at cancelthisshow.com. And by the way, it is fantastic. I guess we can say it now. We can also say it tomorrow as well at the same point in time. I know there may not be as many people listening, but we are doing very, 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 very well when it comes to streaming throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the numbers that you found and that you did a great job finding blew me away, Lizzie.
I couldn't believe it when we sat down, and we have analytics, so we see where we are. We are the number one show, and it's a fact, in St. Louis on streaming on our platforms, and that also includes our podcast, number one, and that's all because of you guys watching now, watching later, or if you just listen and keep sharing and sharing and show. We want to just blow it out of the water because we want to talk about what you guys are telling us because you guys are so smart. Thank you very much. We're number one in St. Louis.
And once again, that is for talk shows. Now there's some radio shows stream.
Yes.
And they're higher.
They're bigger than us. You're right. Thank you for the clarification.
But with talk shows, yeah. And that's because of you guys. So thank you. In a year, we are grateful for that. Joe, were you adding anything or saying goodbye?
No, I was just waiting to hit the button.
Let's do it. Guys, we appreciate it. We'll come back tomorrow. Look forward to a great Thursday show. Thanks for supporting CancelThisShow.com. So for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Thanks to the Stricks for coming in. Kathy and Steve, and of course, Ham Hurrah with Route 66 Cannabis, Experience Realty Partners, New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage, and New Age Health Wellness.
Good job, Vic. You are so good at understanding all of that and going through everything going on. Good job, Vic.
Yeah.
He makes it look easy. Keep
telling me.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Right, keep it coming. All right, guys, have an awesome day. We'll see you next time for CancelThisShow.com.